Hey YouTube, welcome to the Wyvern Watch, and here with another deck profile. However, this time is another new one. Like I said in my last profile for Necros, I've been waiting for the release of Monster Mayhem for a little while here in the EU, and of course now it has been released. I've got the data, I've got the bits and pieces I need to fulfill that Necros deck, which of course I've already profiled. And also the now the Magistus deck, which of course is what this video is for. Magistus, I've had the sort of bare core of the deck a little while because I used to sort of mix it in with Exorcister deck, but my Exorcister deck is now a pure deck, as is this Magistus deck now. So I've had the most of it for a wee while, and obviously I've just been adding to it and putting the list together. So this is a pure version of Magistus. Pretty much pure anyway, and obviously it's in testing at the moment, so if you guys are a bit more seasoned Magistus players and have suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments below, but I'll crack on with the list as it is for now. Of course it is still due another card that we know about. Spoon is to be released shortly, hopefully, but for now this is the list as it is. We're going to kick things off with the new guy. So this is Crowley, the gifted Magistus, which of course is a newer version of the slightly older card, just the Crowley, which is still got in my list, by the way, but we'll get to that in a minute. You can see, I mean, it's great artwork, first of all. The Chiroza in the background, which is a new addition to the Magistus lineup, newer addition, I should say. But yeah, really pleased when this card came out. Obviously it has a few little unique things. So if this face-up card is used as fusion material, its name can be treated as Alistair the Invoker, which is interesting enough on its own, really. But you can use each of the following effects of Crowley once per turn. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it. And if this card is normal or special summoned, except during the damage step, you can fusion summon one Magistus or invoked fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, which of course means you don't need the fusion spell. You know, it's an instant 3-off for me in the pure version at least. And obviously there's a couple of cards that we can use with this to take full advantage of it. So that's the first card. Second card, of course, is the Zeroa. Still at 3-off, still desperate for a reprint. I'm sure it's coming at some point. But if it hasn't already, actually, I don't think it's been reprinted. I can't remember seeing it. But it's one of the heart and soul cards of the deck, of course. I'm not going to go into the older card effects, but we're still running this guy at 3, of course. The current list currently has Endymion at 3 as well. I just feel it's still quite a strong card for the deck. 1 or 2 cards that will search for this guy as well. But I think when the spoon comes, I might be reducing the numbers of this guy. So it's at 3 for now, but like I say, when the new update comes, I think we'll probably see deplenished numbers. This is actually the super rare from the OTS packs as well, so they're quite cool. The next card, I'm gone back to running 3 Riliona. I've had the collector's rare version of these for quite some time now, actually. Really nice looking card. I really do like the original sort of collector rare variant as opposed to the collector rare you get out of the rarity collections, because they're slightly different. But you know, I do really like those. But Riliona back to 3. With it being a pure variant, you can afford to run out that number. Crowley was at 3 and now down to 2. This is the original guy, of course. Not much to say, like I say, it's just the original monster, but the new guy, of course, takes priority, takes over that one. We're just running the 1-hand trap, similar to what I did with the Necros. I've just gone with the 3 effect Veiler. It's still a really potent card. It's a spellcaster deck again. You know I love a spellcaster deck. It's a tuner, of course, which, you know, that we don't run that many synchro monsters, but there are a couple in there, so it may or may not come into play. But it's just relevant for the deck, that's all. And the last monster I'm playing is a new one for me, which is Star Drawing. Now, obviously, with what's that card? With Magistus, it's you get the extra normal summon anyway. So this card is if this card is used for an XYZ summon, you can treat it as a level 5 monster. You can treat it as a level 5 monster, and any XYZ monster that was summoned using this card on the field as material gains this effect. If it is XYZ summoned, you draw 1 card. So you can obviously go straight into a potential rank 4 there. We're not really using the facility to use it as a rank 5, but it just means that, of course, you can go for the extra draw as well if you feel like you need it. But with the extra normal summon, I think it makes sense. Speaking of Magistus, we're going straight into the spells now. So we've got Magistus at 3, a really important card. The first time each Magistus monster equipped with an equipped card would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. You can only use the following effects once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon level 4 spellcaster monster from your hand. And you can send this card to the graveyard and special summon any number of Magistus monsters with different names from your hand. So, sorry, I said normal summon before. I meant a special summon, of course. But if I have second thoughts, let me just double check that. Yeah, it's fine. So I just wanted to make sure it's not a normal summon or something daft, but it's not, is it? So yeah, Magistus always works really, really well, and obviously gets the extra bodies on the field if you need it. And if you've got a handful of Magistus monsters, of course, you can get them all on. Then we're going to play 3 of the new card, which I've actually got extra copies of for my White Witchcrafter deck because it seems to work with both. So Vier Magic Lacrima of Light. This card is always treated as a Magistus and a Witchcrafter card, which is okay. It's good. I like this sort of cross archetype card support. Activate one of these effects, but you can only activate each effect once per turn. If you control a Magistus or a Witchcrafter monster, send one spellcaster monster or 1 spell from your deck to the graveyard. In Witchcrafters, that's going to be really, really good. In this, I can see the spells obviously coming into play. When your opponent activates a card or effect, special summon 1 Magistus or Witchcrafter monster from your hand or deck. Really, really useful. Of course, it's a quick play, so we're just, if you don't need the first effect, you're going to set it for the second effect. We are now running a full suite of Super Polymerization. Now, this is the only deck, pretty sure it's the only deck. I actually run Super Polymerization, and considering this is deck number 58 for me, that's pretty unusual. But I just feel like when it gets to the extra deck, it gave it an extra edge. And obviously there are other cards, there's plenty of cards we can make use of using the opponent's cards. So I just thought, yeah, let's go with Super Polymerization on this one and see how we get on with it. Another new card, we're on to 2 ofs now. So this is Magic Thunder of Judgment. So this card is always treated as a Magistus and an Endymion card, which obviously links it to the Endymion deck as well. Send 1 other face-up Magistus card you control to the graveyard, or remove 2 spell counters from your field, and then activate 1 of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Special summon 1 spellcaster monster from your hand, face-up extra deck or graveyard, or you can banish 1 other card on the field. So really, really useful. Quite obviously getting it from the extra deck is interesting. Face-up extra deck, sorry, that's obviously assuming you've got the pendulum monsters in there. But getting it from the hand or grave is still going to be super useful. We'll have a play with it, see what we think of the ratios after we've done some more testing. I've also gone for 2 Spell Power Mastery, which of course adds an Endymion card from deck to hand. Then you can count the number of Spell Power Mastery and Spell Power Grasp you control and or have in the graveyard, and place that many spell counters among cards you control that you can place a spell counter on. You can only use, I think, to be honest, I think it's just a search card for the Endymion monster itself. So other than that, I don't think it's going to be too much use. Moving on to the Magistus cards, these are all well, they're old for a start, so that none of them are new, but this is the ratio I've gone with. So I've gone 2 Magistus Invocation, 2 Vitra, and 1 Thuggery. Thurgery, is it? Thurgery? Not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Again, for those sort of Magistus faithful, if you feel like I've got the ratios a little bit wrong here, just let me know. But that's the sort of current plan. And then the last three are just 3 staples. So Pot of Prosperity, 1 Call by the Grave, and of course 1 Instant Fusion. Obvious reasons, obviously Prosperity is a little bit room in the extra deck, so we thought we'd make use of it. And speaking of the extra deck, here it comes. So obviously there's a few cards you're going to be very familiar with, but the first card I've got for you is the Zero the Magistus Verathragna, I think it is. But it requires a Magistus monster and 1 Fusion, Synchro, XYZ or Link monster, which of course could be your opponent's if we're using the Super Poly. You can target 1 effect monster in your graveyard, or your opponent controls. Equip that monster, effect monster, to this card. When a monster effect is activated, quick effects, you can send 1 face-up Magistus card you control to the graveyard, negate that effect, then you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. You can only use each effect of 0 once per turn, but it's a big old beat stick at 2900 as well, so that's always a good one. I've got the 1 Magistus Chorozo, which is a newer addition to the deck, but just feel like 1's enough at this point. I've got 1 Aways, which is starting to see a bit more light, I think. I think it's quite super useful, really. And then I've got some more Super Poly targets. So I've gone for the newer Secretarian, something like that, dragon, which requires 1 dragon monster and 1 spellcaster monster. So of course we can achieve that quite easily, but the spellcaster monster side of things, you can potentially use opponent's dragon monster. I've got this card's been in my collection for ages, and I've just been waiting to find a deck that it would be suitable in. So this is Mysterian the Dragon Crown, but again 1 spellcaster monster plus 1 dragon monster for the same Super Poly target sort of thing. If the opponent's dragon monster is out on the field, then we can potentially use it. I've also got a Starving Vermin Fusion Dragon, just for when we do go up against those dark decks. Just try and tidy that up a little bit, because we do have a couple of dark monsters ourselves. So the new Crowley is dark. I think, yeah, the old Crowley was dark as well. So there are options there to use with Super Poly. So that's again just another nice option. And of course, because we can use the new Crowley as Alistair the Invoker, I've also gone for Invoked Macabre as well, just the 1 copy of. I've actually got that one in the Quarter Century, which is really pretty. In my Invoked Dogmatica deck, I've got the original Secret Rares, but that's very pretty actually. I like it with the gold text and stuff, it looks really sweet. So that's it for fusions. I won't try and get them all on here, just got a bit more focused today. Those are your fusions. Of course, we've got a couple of the synchros. So there's one, the Varum, the Magistus Divinity Dragon. Again, one of the older ones. And then, of course, the original Zeroa synchro monster. I've got 2 of the Artemis in Link monsters now. So just to make maximum use of them, obviously in its original deck. So I just push these over here. They can make them look pretty, and you can zoom into them if you wish. And then I've also got 3 rank 4 options. So the original Riliona, the Wondrous Magistus Witch Wardrobe, is quite a mouthful, but she's there anyway. I've got 1 Ninaru, the Magistus Glass Goddess, again in its collector's rare. And again, of course, any deck that I generally can make a rank 4 in, I'll go for a Tornado Dragon as well. I do find them super useful every now and then. That is it for the extra deck and indeed the deck profile, guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. Like I said before, if you're one of the Magistus originals and have sort of started to play with the list yourself, please do feel free to comment. I'd really like to hear from you in terms of what you think of these ratios. I didn't want to mix it with too many other archetypes, so I've tried to keep it relatively pure. It's not a competitive build, so there's no, you know, I wouldn't normally put loads of hand traps in these in this list anyway, but I just wanted to sort of maximize on the monsters themselves. But like I say, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next profile. Cheers, bye.